Hello there, Gia.
Hello, Keisha. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the General Hospital podcast.
We're also known as a table at the Tano. Remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, well, that's our name. Yeah. I was just trying to remind people before we get off track that we're
We're
all
about,
about General Hospital.
yeah, well, maybe like 60% about General Hospital.
Maybe that's generous.
Is it okay? 40%?
Yeah,
40%? Okay.
probably better. Yeah.
And speaking of the other 60%, I guess, which is, as far as you're telling me, not General Hospital related. Did you want to talk about cows, Gia?
Yeah, I just for a minute I cannot tie it to General Hospital in any way, shape, or form.
Well,
I'm not
let's
even
try.
gonna try, but it was just on the news. I was watching the PBS news, and so methane from cows is like a huge problem, as we know, with
Yeah,
global warming.
I've heard of that. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I think it's even worse than like the gas and oil industry, and like it's
Can
the
I
worst.
can
Yeah,
I interrupt with a question?
yeah. I don't probably
Okay.
want an answer, but
Well, you might. Is the methane mostly due to the excretions, or are they also flatulent?
actually, it's from the burping more than the flatulence.
The
Or
burping from their
the
mouths?
yes,
Huh.
that's what they said on this segment. Because yeah, I always thought it was more the
Wow.
tubing. I didn't really know.
The 2, you thought it was more farting and not
Yeah,
like dude, not poop?
they didn't even talk about it being the poop. They've
Huh.
talked about it being the burping, and cows have that weird, like, ruminant stomach, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, alright. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, go ahead,
Anyway,
continue.
so they've been working with a particular food additive that's from a kind of seaweed, some kind of red seaweed, and it
Oh.
cuts the methane down by like they were trying different amounts, and the lowest was 30%, and then as they were bumping it up, it was going up to 50, 60%, like crazy,
Huh.
like huge helpful amounts without side effects and without this was at a dairy farm, and they were saying so it didn't
Mhm.
affect the taste of the milk or any or
Uh-huh.
production or
Uh-huh.
so just super promising. Isn't that promising?
I don't know if that's, like, the good news I was hoping for.
No, what were you hoping for?
Well, that they were gonna, like, free all the cows.
What? And then what the
Go
real
free.
cows?
We don't need your
We're
milk
just
anymore.
free. I would be like, hold still. I got a cup of coffee here. I'm gonna need some heavy cream.
Squirt directly into your
Yeah.
cup. Now there's a Starbucks I could get behind.
Yeah, the cows are right there. But
If
no, I just thought they should have led with that story. Like, here's some positive news.
uh-huh.
Then the negative caveat was here in the US. Apparently, they're already using this in Australia. Like, they went to Australia.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But for some reason, we have it categorized as like a drug. Like, not as they didn't have any way to put it in as a food or something. I don't know why. But so
Huh.
anyway, that process of qualifying it as a drug can take so long, 5 to 10 years or something crazy.
Huh.
So
Okay.
that's a negative. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
that's some good news. They found something. I mean, in seaweed, that sounds like a good natural sort of, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Sure.
Huh.
But next time, Gia, next
Yeah.
time you have good news, I guess I'm gonna have to have you run it by me first before we cut into the podcast with it, okay?
Okay. Well, do you have any good news?
I do not.
Super good news. Let all the cows free.
Oh god. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
you're a silly Billy.
I wonder if they like the seaweed or,
They seem to be chomping that food down like nobody's
Mhm.
business. I don't know.
Well,
It was a
there's
very tiny amount it was
huh.
a really
Okay.
low percentage of
Yeah.
know.
Interesting. All right. All right.
Anyway.
Well, I guess if anybody wants to thank Gia for that little segment, you can thank her on Facebook. Although I shouldn't say that because I don't like when you guys encourage Gia on Facebook.
I've stayed off the last couple of days because can tell you're trying to tell people that I'm crazy or something
Your
because
words.
I had a lovely childhood and watched popular TV on Saturday morning
Oh, dear, dear.
while you
Okay.
were at the library working on your thesis or something,
I don't I was probably trying to sneak away all the
trying to free the
sweets.
cows. You were probably
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there
trying to
letting the
figure out,
cows out.
oh, if only I could have. All right. Anyway, here we
Mm.
are. Here we are. It's Monday, and we've got Friday, and
Friday and
today's,
Monday. Yeah.
yeah.
We had some
And you know,
fireworks.
I'm going to say we did. And you know what, Gia? I'm also going to say that I do think the writing is getting a little stronger.
Yeah, I thought so too. I should have
Yeah.
written down. We should like be able to quote things, but I'm too
Yeah.
lazy to do that while I'm watching. But
Well,
I thought the epic battle, do we want to
with
call it a cat fight? I don't
with
even know.
between Carly and Willow.
Carly and Willow, I thought that was good. I
Oh,
was
that was, I mean, who fights better than Carly, you know?
right. She is so in her element with that. She just
Oh, totally. I
yeah.
mean, just memorizing her lines alone, that seems like that takes a certain skill because she's in a lot of episodes, so she's gotta probably,
Right. Yeah.
but
I wonder
to
how like hard that is to emotionally to come back down. Like
yeah.
a non-confrontational person in spite of what you hear between Keisha and I here on this show. And
Sure, sure.
the thought of like getting my dander up enough to even act a fight,
Yeah,
your body
yeah,
would be coursing with all those
right.
chemicals, those fight chemicals, and
Yeah, I agree. I know.
so even though it's a fake fight, you're still like you got to get your voice up like that, and
Yeah, you tap into something. I mean, you must, like, when they tap into
yeah,
whatever they can hit on to make them cry so convincingly, you know?
right. They have to fight, but yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Carly was, and I thought Willow gave it as good as she.
Yeah, she
What's
did.
that saying? Gave as good as she got.
She got,
Gave as good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought so too. And Willow, she's starting to become a little more complicated again, especially
yeah.
when she was just alone with Nina and sort of admitting that she was a little afraid that maybe, she could be a little bit like Nell.
Yeah, I love that they're bringing Nell back into this.
Yeah,
That's a great angle.
it
Because
is.
I sort of forget about that, and then how
Yeah.
disturbing would that be to have your
Ugh.
twin, or even just any sibling, but a twin makes it creepier, have
Yes, it
been like
does.
a psycho killer?
Yeah, and you kind of wonder, like, even if outwardly and just historically, Willow hasn't exhibited any signs that she's at all like Nell, but just almost the power of suggestion and just that like genetic like cloud hanging over her head. You almost feel like
Yeah,
could that help like push her to behave, in some way that she never would have
would
imagined
have, right, yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah, so that was a good move.
Yeah.
I thought Nina was strong in it too. Nina's sort of walking this line, walking
Oh,
this
she
tightrope.
is. I know. She, like you said before, like she's totally redeemed herself. I think even more so because she's, yeah, like you said, she's walking this line. She's trying to be true to Willow, trying also to keep the big picture in mind, like Michael coming back and what ultimately will happen with the kids and all of that,
Yeah,
and
she's being very practical in her advice, I think.
yeah, yeah. And also I kind of like that she didn't like totally sell out Carly, I mean, she was pretty rational in her
She
approach.
was, yeah. I mean, she's being diplomatic about
Yeah,
all parties
yeah.
involved.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, cuz the old Nina I think would have completely like turned around and just joined Willow in this fight against Carly.
Yeah. Yeah, and she just looks so pained in her eyes
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, kudos to all the actors in these scenes. Even Drew, who's
Oh,
creep
God.
factor. You think he's as creepy as he can get, and then like the next episode, you're like, nope, he's even creepier.
Yeah, exactly. I know, and I'm trying to figure out, like, his this play to have himself be named
Yeah. Yeah.
guardian or whatever, you know, I like,
I
is
had the papers all drawn up and ready to
yeah.
go. Like, what is that?
What is that
What is that
exactly?
even? Yeah. What is that even?
I mean, come on.
I know. I thought at first I was like, oh, my mind went to like, is he gonna try and adopt? Can we
I know, I was thinking that too.
but then I was thinking, how can he be doing this without like how does Michael not have any say in any of this?
Yeah,
You know?
right,
Like,
right,
does
and
she have full custody at the moment, Willow?
I don't think she could she? I don't know, but I don't see how they would have let that happen, the Quartermaines, you know, and it's funny, like, that Drew is, like, making these maneuvers to sort of have all the kids when he can't even keep track of his own,
The
you
one who we
know?
haven't seen
Yeah, you
in a
know?
in a million years here.
Yeah, which I know that's, like, whatever, you know, they have their reasons for not having the kids on all the time, and, of course, I don't miss Wiley, but, still, it's it rings a little hollow, you know, this sort of
Yeah.
vow that he's gonna make sure she has her kids, you know, and he'll do whatever he can, you know, to make sure that
And
happens.
he's just so physically invasive. Like I know she's
Oh,
small and he's
yeah,
big and tall, but
yeah.
like if my husband like was speaking to me like that, like leaning down and then doing the
Hovering
hands in
over
my
you.
face and hovering over
Yeah.
me and trying to tell me what I needed to do,
You'd punch him right in the throat, wouldn't you?
that would not go well for him. Yeah. I would just be like, well, he just wouldn't be my husband. Like
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
invading your space like that physically is so
Right,
threatening, I think.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's
He's like a
true.
velociraptor. I know I've said that before, but that's or
That's
maybe like a praying mantis,
mhm, a
you know?
little
One of those
bit, but
big stick bugs.
ouch.
I know that's probably not what he was going for all those hours at the gym. You look like one of those big stick bugs, dude.
That you think is a branch and then it moves a little bit. You're like
Yeah.
that, pal.
Oh, but
Uh,
he's just like ew, he's just so creepy. And yeah, I'm what is his angle? In the same way
yeah,
that we're all thinking, what's his angle with what's his name, the football player, too? You
yeah,
know, like
right, right.
what's in this for him at the moment? You know, is this
Mhm. Yeah, I
all to
agree.
stick somebody else or something? Or
Well, yeah, like, I'm wondering, could he like, when he says, like, sort of mentions vaguely about how, like, if something happened to Willow,
oh yeah,
dot,
that
you
was
start to
super
wonder, and
creepy.
he said that twice, right?
Yeah. And
And
the
you
only
kind
thing that made it better was when he said, if something happens to me, then you'll have
right,
Scout.
right,
You know, it's
right,
like,
yeah.
well, okay, but
Yeah, but why would you lead with that,
yeah.
buddy, you know? Like, could he have some sort of diabolical master plan where somehow he, like I don't know what I mean, that would obviously kill the Quartermaines if somehow, like, he wound up with sole custody of these children or whatever,
So
but
yeah, it could just be part
yeah.
of his grand scheme to stick it to the Quartermaines, I guess. Yeah.
I guess, but that means he's stuck with the kids. That
Yeah,
doesn't seem
yeah,
like a
and
real win,
he's
you
not
know?
really a kid person, yeah.
Yeah, unless he's getting into human trafficking or something and he's just gonna sell them. I don't know.
Well, maybe he is getting together that swim team. We were always talking about what a good swim coach he would have been,
Wouldn't
you
that
know?
be awesome? That would be delightful if that were his master
Can't you
plan.
see him, like, bent over in that same velociraptor way with a whole
Yeah, yeah, I
team of
can.
in the red banana hammock
Yep,
with a whistle
uh-huh.
hanging off his big long neck, like, you know, doing some sort of inspirational speaking with his
I
hands flying around, you know?
absolutely can picture that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Wow.
yeah. And then, like, oh, I shouldn't even take this further. Okay, I'll stop.
but that's the sort of hospital you'd get if Gia and I were the head
Yeah,
writers,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Somehow,
Like
like,
we
Willow
would
gets
take it. Yeah.
murdered so Drew can have a swim team.
And we're always faulting the writing for like, we need to have it at least be realistic.
And then people would be like, "Why did he have to kill her to have a swim team?"
Oh, anyway, but that, yeah, I thought that was really well done, the fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, it was nice of Nina to summon Jason, knowing that Carly was gonna spin out of
yeah, I didn't
control.
really quite realize till after that it was Nina that I was like, who's sending him this text? You know, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, because I was like, Carly wasn't she pausing long enough to,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But once again, poor long-suffering Jason, like having to step
Yeah,
in the
he's
fray, you know. And
exactly. Yeah, true.
would have
True.
been funny if he'd like had a water squirt bottle and he just shot water at her, you know, like when your
Yeah.
cat's on the counter.
Is that what you do?
No, my grandmother used to do that though. My grandmother
Uh,
was kind of a tough love gal
uh, and
with
that worked.
animals and grandchildren. Yeah,
It was probably meant for you, and then once in a
yeah.
while the cat would
She
get
wouldn't have
it.
hesitated. Yeah,
Another piece of the puzzle, everybody.
she was. She was actually a wonderful woman, but she wasn't like a fuzzy, like gather
Yeah.
you to her knee kind of.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like there was no like. Well, we did
Uh-huh.
hug, like we'd hug hello and goodbye, but she wasn't like a touchy
Yeah.
cookie bacon kind of,
Was
you
this
know.
your mom's mom or your
My
dad's mom?
mom's mom, my mom's
Yeah.
mom, yeah,
Yeah, my
which is
mom's
weird. My
mom was
mom
kind
was
of a
very
tough
loving, but
cookie also. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, she was always kind of like a rolled up newspaper, kind of a like a,
Yeah.
you know.
Ah, that's lovely.
Uh, yeah, my dad's mom, I didn't get to know very well because my dad was the youngest in a very
Uh-huh.
old family, and so,
Uh-huh.
but she was like touchy, lovey, you know.
Huh.
But
Uh-huh.
she was already in the throes of dementia, I think, when I first
Yeah.
met her,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
made her early on kind of like a wild card, sort of fun in that, you
Yeah.
know, like you never knew.
That's the fun side of dementia that people don't
Yeah,
talk about enough.
she was a little bit zany early
Uh,
on.
yeah.
Anyway, so that was big, and then the other big thing that started on Friday. We're doing a good job. We're backing up to Friday stuff.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, we get a sticker for that. Was the big Diane
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Alexis
Yes.
discussion of what Kristina had done, and
Yes.
then
Yes.
Diane's solution.
Right, right.
Go ahead and unwrap some of that for unwrap.
Unpack. Uh,
Can we
uh,
unwrap also, or has that got a different
we
meaning?
could unwrap it, I think. Sure, sure.
Now I'm just
Because
back with the fabulous Thunderbirds where they're
oh,
wrap,
okay,
wrap, wrap.
that was your hidden agenda there.
No,
Okay.
that's just where my brain went.
Okay, let's see. Well, I thought it was kind of a gift, this little bit of the storyline, because I thought it was just kind of amazing and fascinating today when Alexis comes home and Kristina's there, and then Molly comes in, and Alexis has this huge weight. Like her
Ugh,
life has become a nightmare overnight, right? I mean,
I know the weight on her shoulders is
yeah,
incredible right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
And she must feel sick,
yep, yep.
and I'm sure she just wants to like say fuck it, I don't want to have to be the one to make these choices and to carry all this, but she doesn't want her kids to either, so she's trapped in this like amazing
Yeah,
soap opera
it's
like
almost like
nightmare.
Shakespearean or,
Yeah, yeah.
operatic or something. It's so
Right,
big.
right. It
Yeah.
does feel like tragic, in a sense.
And
And
then
then
like, do you buy that Christina is like coming out of her sort of delusional murdering state?
Not quite. No, I felt like she was doing a
Not
really good
quite.
she was doing a really good job sort of, like, saying the right things, but it didn't really quite ring true, I didn't think, or maybe she wasn't saying quite the right things. She was saying, like, reading from a script of what the right things, are.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
thought
I
I could
mean?
see a glint of the cray cray in her eyes still.
Yeah, 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 and, so that was also kinda delicious, this whole little
Yeah,
tableau there. I mean, it's awful, it's really awful, and then you have, like, you cut to, Ava and Rick, like, sort of rubbing their
yeah.
hands together like they're gonna make money off of this, and
They were like, remember in A Christmas Carol when he sees them, the old lady who's ripped the bed curtains down and everything, and she's selling them to the guy, and they're kind of
Mm,
laughing over
mhm,
Scrooge's. Oh,
mhm.
is this another one where you've never read or seen?
I
Do you know A
I
Christmas Carol?
I love the George C. Scott one, didn't we talk
Oh,
about that once?
excellent.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's our
Mhm,
favorite as well.
mhm.
But it kind of reminded me of that. Those two, they're like Ava and Rick, they're sort of
Yeah,
gleefully,
yeah,
and they
uh-huh.
they like, are you going to double cross me? Maybe. Are you going to double
Right.
cross me? They're like,
Right. They're very much like Dickens characters, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But they sort of get each other too,
Right,
and
right.
yeah,
Yeah, and Rick was sorta trying to have a bit of a moral compass, like, he kept
yeah.
sorta
It's
testing
new to
her,
him. It's very new to him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's absolutely right, it's new to him, so he doesn't wear it very well or very convincingly,
yeah.
but,
But
yeah,
yeah, they were kind of delicious too, I think.
mhm, yep, and I was really glad that Alexis, obviously has Diane to, like, lay this all out, to somebody who she knows she can trust, because that we needed to hear that, and we needed to see how much agony she was in, I think, and it would have been harder if she hadn't had anybody to confide in.
And when she first said it, I was thinking, it's not like a stretch to say that Kristina needs to be committed in the first place. Like
Right,
she
right.
does need help. Like she is
Yeah,
out of control. If
yeah.
you're impulsively cutting somebody's brakes,
Yeah, yeah, right.
like you might need something more than a once a week, therapy.
Mhm, yeah, and
You might
I respected Diane for sort of, like, saying that, right? That, the last time they helped Christina, this is what happens, she kinda gets to keep going on with her life without consequence,
yeah, so but I felt it seemed unfortunate though that like not only is um uh like she's calling her the ultimate enabler, and it seems like
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
a little bit of a guilt trip about that too is like, well,
mhm,
if you as her mother hadn't kept cleaning up every mess, she wouldn't have turned
right.
out like this. It's like I don't know if I like to buy that. I don't like the blaming the mother
Well,
thing.
no, no, but and I can't even remember at the moment what the other time was that she covered for her, and I'm gonna feel
Did
stupid
she
when you
kill somebody?
I know, how
Well,
do we not
they
remember?
got her out of Dawn of Day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
did she kill Shiloh? What happened to Shiloh? Did somebody kill
I don't
Shiloh?
remember, but I don't think it would have been that, but,
And then she had the abusive boyfriend, and I think Alexis
mhm.
ended up killing him, right?
Yeah, I think that's right, I think hit him with her car or something, I can't remember,
Yeah.
but I mean, didn't Diane even tell us the other other time
Did
that they
she? Oh, crap,
but
really?
yeah, it's, like, gone from my mind right now,
Maybe I need some seaweed to help with my burping
we
and
need
memory.
seaweed, we need a lot of things, Gia.
Was seaweed one of the things in our memory, stuff? Or
Well,
what
what
was
was
it?
it? Or it was
Oh,
like
no. Shark
squid
squid, that's what
fluid
it
or
was.
something, I can't remember. I can't
Thing
remember what was in our memory pill.
from the sea. It's all things from the sea. We just need
Yeah,
more
yeah,
sea stuff. Like, just start
mhm,
munching on stuff in the
yeah.
sea.
Well, I bought these like seaweed sort of they're very thin, like paper thin seaweed snacks that are flavored with like chili
I've
lime.
eyeballed those before. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what's the verdict? What do you think?
Well, I like the whole chili lime flavor part of it, but you get like an instant where you get
But
that
the
seaweed
seaweed.
flavor. It's like, ugh. But then, you work past it. So
Ah, all
I
right.
don't
So
know.
there's enough seasoning. Isn't it
Yeah.
seaweed that's like the wrapper for sushi? That kind of
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
think
like
that
that. I
too.
mean, I haven't had
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
sushi stuff, but
So you might
that
like
doesn't
these.
take fishy, I
No,
don't
give it a
think.
try. Give it a try, Gia.
Now, is that vegan? Is seaweed
I think it's a
is that
weed, right?
that's a plant, I guess,
Yeah, I'm gonna call it a
technically.
plant. I'm gonna call it a plant,
Now,
Gia.
at what point do you start worrying about, like, do you hear screaming from the plants or anything?
Well, anytime I've been around a plant,
There,
there's been
it's screaming.
screaming.
I've seen some of your plants are usually screaming for water.
Like immediately,
Yeah.
immediately, as soon as I have a plant in my hand, it starts to plan its exit.
Yeah, that's all right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I just for a moment there, I was thinking like they seem so alive. They seem very alive. Uh, but yeah, they're live plants, I guess.
Plants, yeah. So where were we? Okay, so Kristina, yeah, and I don't know, like during that scene when they're having their noodle
Mm.
Buddha and everything, and the girls are sort of talking. Is Alexis still trying to decide? Is she like hoping that Christina is showing enough remorse or personal growth that she
I
can
didn't see any
somehow?
big change on her face. I mean, she looks at the papers,
Yeah, and then she stuffed
but
them back in her bag.
yeah,
Was she just not wanting to like deal with the reality of that at the moment, I guess.
I guess I didn't interpret any like change happening there.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess not.
usually they hit us over the head with something like that if we're gonna,
Yeah. And you think like this is all it's very interesting. Like would Alexis talk to Sonny before this happened so he's not completely
not if she's smart. I mean, I don't think
Oh
Sonny
yeah.
would be down with this plan, you
He'd
know?
probably say, "Well, I'll just take her to the island."
Yeah, right.
She'll disappear to the island.
Yeah, his magic solution for things. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
But so wouldn't he well, I guess you're right. Yeah, she probably wouldn't wanna have that be a possibility, but he's gonna know as soon as it happens that,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That'll
he's
probably,
gonna be mad
that's when
at her.
Sonny will go down, possibly,
Yeah,
the
possibly, yeah.
collection of the heart. And Elizabeth.
And then Elizabeth will stand up
Yeah.
like, "What?"
Yeah. Oh, now, do you know the Elizabeth reference I just made?
From Sanford and Son, yeah, I do
Okay, so
remember that.
you did
Red
have TV
Fox.
in the 70s, so that's
Yes, yes, uh-huh.
yes.
Normal TV, not weird monster TV, okay?
I watched a Sanford and Son in the middle of the night the other night, and it was almost unwatchable. It was more like a play or something. It felt
Yeah, there is
very
something of the aesthetics of some of those shows, you know?
yeah, it felt very stiff, but I used to love that show as a kid.
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh. A lot
But
of overacting in some of those shows,
yeah,
like
yeah.
All in the Family. Like, my grandmother, my mom's mom, was living with us for a while because she had Alzheimer's, and my mom took care of her for a long, long time, but if All in the Family or one of those shows where the characters would shout, and Archie
Yeah.
Bunker was yelling, she would just be yelling at the TV like, "Shut up." Like,
Your
"Be
grandmother did?
quiet." Yeah.
Yeah.
She couldn't stand all that
I
noise.
feel like doing that sometimes.
I know.
My in-laws, they watched more TV. Like theirs was a household where the TV was just like always on. Like my husband's mother, like just kind of had it
Mhm.
always on,
Yeah, yeah, we did too.
and they, oh really? We'd like
Yeah.
if we had the TV on in the daytime. My mom was like, "Are you ill? Do you not feel like there was no way you were going to be turning that TV." But
Uh-huh,
anyway, they would set up TV trays and eat dinner in front of the TV, which was also like
uh-huh.
forbidden in our house, except
Yeah,
for
yeah.
silly stuff.
Uh-huh.
And they used to watch that McLaughlin Hour. Do you
Uh-huh.
remember that? It was
Yeah,
a PBS
I
show
do. Yeah, I
where
do.
that
He
like
was loud.
horrible old man and everybody
Yeah.
on there would just be screaming at each other, and then
It's true.
my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they would also be screaming at the TV at each other. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"What have I done? What?" Why am I here with these people? And
Yeah,
then eventually
yeah.
I was just screaming along with them too.
Yeah, and then you come around and you think, "Well, he's making some sense. He makes some good points here."
I just loved all wrong. It was just like
I know.
it was just
Yeah.
such a weird, aggressive kind of a talk
Yeah.
show. It wasn't a
Yeah.
panel show, I
Yeah, I'd
guess.
be like, "And you say what?"
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, he was pretty funny. Yeah, yeah, he was actually pretty funny.
He was,
But
yeah.
I
Uh,
can't think of his. Well, it was McLaughlin. What was his
yeah.
first name? Was
I
it
wanna say John, but is that
John?
just
You might be
there was
right.
also a, musician, John McLaughlin, so
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
could
Good
be
on
wrong about
you.
that. Thanks, Gia.
Um, yeah. Anyway, so who were we talking about?
Well, we're talking about Alexis
Oh, and
and her
Sunny going
dilemma.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sunny's gonna have to go down soon with something, and we have
Yeah.
so a lot of stressful things happening. Like, so
Yeah.
Laura informed him today of her little
Mhm.
plan
Mhm.
to have the people vote on the esplanade. Did you know that the esplanade was going to be so freaking important?
Yes. I know. Well, should we change the name of our podcast to the Port Charles
To
Esplanade?
the
Or
esplanade,
the
yeah.
McConkey is it the McConkey Esplanade?
McConkey, yeah. Let's see if anybody can find us with that. That's so us.
It is.
Like, let's bury this podcast. McConkey. McConkey? McConkey.
McConkey, oh, that would have been hilarious.
The McConkey Esplanade, a General Hospital podcast, sort of.
Ish. Ish.
Yeah, the
Oh god.
Esplanade. But
Hmm.
so that whole thing and the fighting over, like, um I don't know. It seems like there's so many stressful things happening in Sonny's
Yeah.
world that could
Yeah.
culminate in
Oh,
his.
and even if he's gotta go to Rocco's debate thing, I feel like,
Oh,
holy
right.
what if it
Yeah.
happens there, you know?
That was kind of a sweet little moment with Laura and
Mhm.
Sonny on the
Mhm.
couch and their
Yeah.
mutual
Yeah.
grandson. That felt real, that
It
felt
did.
like
I
a.
mean, yeah, Laura, she just brings so much, like, authenticity to her
That's a
role,
good
like,
word for her. Yeah.
you know?
You really believe her.
Yeah, you think, "God, Rocco's so lucky to have a grandmom like
Yeah.
that,"
Once you
you know?
remember that he's Rocco, you're like,
Oh, they should put the name tags on the kids, that wouldn't be a bad idea, okay?
or just, how, like, when they would come on and say the role of blah blah is
Yeah.
being played, like, just a little somebody
Yeah,
murmuring,
like, it's not a
enter
new actor
Rocco,
or anything, but just
yeah,
in case you don't
that's just,
remember, this is Rocco.
this teenager is Rocco, yeah, or just, yeah, this is
His
Rocco,
his
yeah.
parents are Lulu
Yeah,
and Dante. Lulu is Laura's
yeah.
daughter.
Speaking of children, how did you enjoy the Instagram I sent you of Aiden?
Oh god, I was like, "Why am I watching this? It's so uncomfortable."
It
Oh
really
my
was,
god.
wasn't it?
Oh, it was awful.
But did you know who it was?
Not really, not it took a while. I was like, why did she say this is General Hospital related? What is
Well,
she?"
just for that very reason, because I was watching it. It was like the General Hospital Instagram account,
Uh-huh,
and I'm like,
uh-huh.
"Who is this? Like, what is this?"
It's like dancing to Sade, who was lovely,
Yeah, it
but
was
yeah.
Aiden looking very much like a full-grown man doing some kind of
Like his
well,
sexy dance.
kind of a sexy dance, and then in the end, he laughs, and somebody off camera laughs, so you realize he's kind of just spoofing things. But
I guess, but it went on for
nonetheless, he did
yeah,
not look like. How old is he supposed to be? Like 16 or
I
something?
guess it's Elizabeth's youngest son, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, so not well cast, really.
No, no,
Scene.
mm-mm. Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, but thanks for that, Gia.
yeah, you're welcome. It was disturbing. I have to share disturbing
Yeah,
stuff
I know.
sometimes.
You want somebody to help shoulder that burden.
Well, it kind of dilutes it a little bit for
Yeah.
me.
The intensity of your
Yeah,
discomfort. Yeah.
like, yeah.
Uh-huh. Anyway,
Um,
okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
Rocco, and we had a little Danny. Actually, we had Danny
Yeah, we
cooking. What the
had
hell? What was that? What were
cake
those?
pops. There were cake pops.
You say
Um,
that as if it's like a real thing. Is it a real thing?
It is, at least on the cooking channel. It's a real thing. These
Oh, I didn't know
baking
that.
the baking shows, yeah, there's always an occasion where somebody has to make a cake pop at some point. I
So
don't
it's
know if
like
I
a
support
lollipop
them.
that's just a cake that you just a
Yeah,
piece of
it's
cake on
cake
a stick.
batter. Yeah, and sometimes they, like, just, like, take, like, the I don't know, like, the scraps from a cake. If they have to, like, make a cake into a certain shape and they have, like, the
Oh, and they have to
scraps, they
cut
might
off the yeah, yeah,
ball them
yeah.
up and then put frosting around them and make a cake pop, but I don't know, seems a little sloppy.
I would just
Uh,
eat it more like a donut hole, I guess, if it were up to me. I
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
bother with
right,
the
right. Why would you need to put it on a stick?
yeah.
But I did like at that moment, just the way Sasha sort of connected with Danny, and I thought, this is what would keep her at the Quartermain house, I guess, if she had these sort of
Yeah, and
relationships.
Jason's lobbying hard for her to do that, which was kinda
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, yeah. It was a little of a stretch of his character, I thought, but I guess it does make some sense in a way, if he's thinking outside of his normal little, like, mobster world.
Black T-shirt Jason
Yeah,
kinda world. Yeah,
exactly,
well, he's kinda
exactly.
mellowing with age a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, and he is seeing, like, that Danny truly does love having other people around and family around,
Yeah,
so
but anyway, so we got a little Danny sighting. We just haven't seen
mhm.
Scout's the only one we haven't seen in very years
She's sort of conspicuous by her absence,
in her
isn't she?
absence, yeah.
Yeah, but, maybe Drew has already murdered her or something dark like that.
Wow, that is dark. Yeah.
I wonder how long it would take anybody to realize, "Huh, we haven't seen Scout."
Maybe we should check the gorgeous bedroom that Maxie made for her. And
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so what else happened? So moving forward more towards
Mhm,
today,
mhm.
uh,
Oh,
I
well, we
guess
have
well we
something
kind of
that
already.
I think was
Uh,
both of us would have been delighted, that happened, that, Portia summoned Brad.
oh right, oh yeah, and that they're hysterical together. I'm kind of digging that.
Yeah.
Like I like that Portia gets all like just sort of all business and like
Mhm.
she's not her like fluttery,
Yeah.
giggly self. She's like
Like, "Fuck
she's
you."
yeah, she's kind of like yeah, she's got this like little bit of steel in her in
Yeah.
those instances,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
yeah, I'm still wishing that they would learn to work together.
I
Um,
think that'll happen. I think, yeah, I think this is just the early days, and Brad is resisting because he had such a nice arrangement before, where he
yeah,
didn't have
yeah.
to be polite, and just like come running when she called him.
But just the depth of knowledge that he has in the shady arts would be so helpful.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right. Well, and also, since she had been talking to, was it Ava who warned her away from doing anything with Drew's medical records just for, like, HIPAA violations and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, which didn't seem very Ava-like. Seems like Ava's, at
Right.
least in her own life, goes ahead and does all kinds of things that violate
Yeah, right,
everything.
right. Everything, yeah, but I'm wondering now, like, are they gonna unearth something that's going to be able to be used, and maybe not traced back in, like, the usual HIPAA kind of violation way? Who knows?
Yeah, I've seen chatter online that maybe this is an imposter Drew or something,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
that would be a shame if they did that.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and I feel like we were led to believe that she'd already found something, so I was a little
Yeah.
confused as to why
Right,
we're
right. Uh-huh.
digging more, you
Yeah,
know.
good point, yeah,
I mean, maybe she just saw a hint of something that she needs to
to
fully
trace.
uncover,
Right,
yeah.
right,
But
possibly.
maybe there's something in the lineage that shows that maybe
Mhm.
he's not really
He's
a Quartermain,
part
like he's
velociraptor.
yes, right.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
they brought back the dire wolf and
Way to incorporate that into into the
I
show.
get kind of excited about like science news and you seem kind of like flippant about it, you know. But
I
before you
guess
know it, you're probably going to be adopting some down and out woolly mammoth or something, if I know you.
down in the woolly. I know. I hope they don't bring these animals back and then just discard them at a shelter.
I know. I mean, and like what a shelter they could like it would be Jurassic. They would be the Jurassic shelter, or something.
Oh
I
God.
mean,
Yeah.
back to your idea about just letting all the cows out. Like how
Yeah.
who's caring for these cows
Well, you got
that
your
are?
farm sanctuary is a shelter that well, it's a big rescue organization that
Oh,
has.
so we'd still have them being housed and fed. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah.
just wanted to open the gates and let them
Well,
fend for
that would,
themselves.
yeah, if that's possible. Let's try it.
Seems impractical, but
Oh dear.
especially
Imagine
now
all
that
the
the dire
methane.
wolves are running around.
Yeah, wow. Oh,
They'd be
man.
like, yeah, go ahead and open the gates. Let the cows.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, boy. This
Anyway, okay, what else happened?
let's see what else happened. Hmm.
Well,
We have
Kai, at the very last scene,
Oh,
we had
Kai.
Kai
Yeah.
getting the advice from Portia to like suddenly, though, in true soap opera fashion, up until this
Right.
point, you had
Right,
no
right.
idea what Portia thought of this experimental surgery, and
And
suddenly,
would have bet that she had read that it was safe, right? I mean,
right, that's how we were being manipulated. Yeah.
yes, right, right.
But we're prime suspects for manipulation. Like
Yeah, we
we're
are.
easy. We're easy in more ways than one. Um, or you
Uh,
are anyway. But,
yeah, touche. Although maybe
I'm just teasing.
anyway, let's see. But well, when Trina was talking to Kai on Friday, right? They had a conversation on
Yeah,
Friday, didn't they?
yeah. And then they talked again today, and then she talked
Yeah.
to her mother today.
Mhm, mhm. So yeah, a lot of Trina, and it did seem like she had her own agenda, of course. I mean, and I think she had multiple agendas, and I don't really blame her, for first of all, like, yeah, being skittish because she lost Spencer and she's not going to take anybody for granted, really, that she cares about, right? Um,
Yeah, that was sort of believable, I guess. Yeah.
I guess, and then also I would be terrified if this guy has like if he's in a position where he could get hit and, and have a devastating injury. How would you ever relax if this guy's going to play football again? You know what I mean? Like even if
Right.
this
Right.
surgery or whatever, you'd still feel like he's not 100%. He's not better. He's not bionic, I don't
Right.
think.
And I mean, I think that I mean we see this in some other shows and probably in real life, but like people that are married to cops or
Yeah,
other people that do
yeah.
people in really dangerous vocations,
Right,
and the
right.
stress on the spouse or girlfriend
Yeah.
or boyfriend or whatever, that's
Mhm.
real. If every
Mhm.
time the person walks out the door you're thinking they could die,
Yep.
um
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
so you can't blame Trina. But I thought, and you pointed this out before, but I thought Trina was playing it really, um, really cool with Kai. Not cool like as in cold, but as in seeming
Trying to
to,
be neutral, right?
yeah, yeah, trying to be supportive of just letting
Mhm.
him sort of explore the idea of this without just saying that's the stupidest fucking idea I've ever heard.
Right,
And
right,
as you know,
yeah.
that's usually my MO with friends and relatives, like just like.
She's not lying there, everyone.
I sort of lack filters. Yeah. I come from a long line of people that lack filters, but anyway, yeah, so I thought Trina was good at
Yeah,
letting him, because of course, and he's young, so even
yeah.
even older people like entertain these fantasies, but I think about when you're young and you just think
Mhm.
that's your whole life is football and that's
Yeah.
your entire identity. Of course, you're going to block out and rationalize
Right.
all the bad stuff and just
Right.
convince yourself that you're going to be the third one that's successful.
Yeah,
Um,
which yeah, and I could see, doing that inside your little brain, like
oh yeah, totally. You want to
yeah.
believe if you want to believe
Mhm.
something that bad, you're gonna make your
Definitely.
brain believe it. You know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I
mhm.
think especially at that age, you're gonna be more susceptible
Yeah,
to
yeah.
optimism, I guess.
Mhm. Mhm. Right.
Outlandish optimism, perhaps.
Yeah, and it's sort of all complicated by the fact that Drew like pulled this expert in, so it almost makes it seem like he has been vetted already.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I wish we kind of knew the angle, unless Drew just kind of like is spreading, just sort of like without an agenda yet, just sort of spreading out favors and things so that
right,
people will
right.
owe him.
Yeah. That's kinda how it
Uh,
seems to me. Yeah, definitely, like, he's banking all this sort of goodwill,
yeah,
you
just
know?
like a political animal would do, like you
Right,
just sort of
right.
spread it around, and then you know that
Yeah.
this person will be in
Mhm.
your pocket at some point when you need him.
Right, yeah,
Um,
which kinda makes you think that it will be a success, I guess, although it would be just as interesting if it's a spectacular failure and then, people will hate Drew for, like, an entirely new reason,
yeah,
you know?
but they don't do well with letting people stay in wheelchairs or, there's
No,
always
right.
some
So maybe he would
miracle. Yeah.
yeah, he could fail the surgery, but then somehow still wind up fine. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
we don't
Within like
know.
a month,
Right,
five
right.
weeks tops. So.
Right, right, yeah, yeah, so we'll see there, but, yeah, that was all, I guess, pretty good, although it was interesting how, like, Portia's telling Trina, that she can't sort of steer Kai in one direction, that but then like you said, like then as soon as she's alone with him, she's saying, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, you know,
Well,
kind of.
I didn't take that she was saying. I kind of took that more as like a doctor just laying out. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I didn't take it as she was trying to influence him so
No,
much.
not really. It just seemed like she sort of contradicted, I guess, the position she
Her,
took with Trina a little bit.
yeah, yeah. We haven't talked about fashion at all. Do you want to talk about Trina's outfit?
Well, that top, well, I
Yeah.
couldn't decide if it was too much for me or if it was exciting. It was
Isn't that the
so
definition of exciting when
I
it is
guess,
too
yeah,
much?
it had so much energy. It was, like,
It did. The
distracting.
pattern was pretty
Yeah,
cool,
it was
and I thought, wow, I wished I'd looked like that when I was in college or ever,
ever, yeah,
ever
ever.
that I could. Because normally I'm not like I don't really like the little crop top look, but I thought
Right,
she just
right.
looked cute as a button.
She did, yeah,
It-
yeah.
And the like the high waisted jeans seem to be coming back. I don't know how I
Mhm.
feel about that, but
Yeah, right. I don't think you
these
like that, Gia, at least, like, practically speaking, if you have to wear a high-waisted jean, you don't enjoy that feeling.
I don't like that. Yeah, I
Cutting
don't like
cutting into
that.
the
Cutting
tummy.
into your middle. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You've reminded me, I don't know if you're ready to move on from Trina's top, but you
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
we didn't talk about Emma and Anna.
Oh, yeah, that was another good thing. There Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. I think maybe new writing is happening. Maybe that
Yeah,
third
it was
person is.
kinda solid across, like, sort of meaty dialogue.
Yeah. I really I know we're eating our hats here with the whole Emma thing, but
Yeah.
I am liking this girl and I am liking her relationship with her grandmother. It's funny we were
Yeah.
talking about our grandmothers before.
Yeah, true, and we didn't remember
Yeah,
these
we
2.
didn't remember that we had a big yeah. This came
But
out really funny. It's a little bit sad, I guess.
it is
But,
sad, it's yeah, also pathetic.
but and she's not like a lovey-dovey grandma either. She's more like
Right, right, but it's clear that she loves Emma. She's
yes,
not
yes, yeah.
she's not sort of soft like Laura, and Laura is still, like she's still got integrity. She's not going to lie to
She's
anybody, you
kind of like
know.
a steel magnolia.
Like a what? A steel magnolia? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
that not work?
I guess it sure it does. Okay.
I'm gonna have
Um
to Google it now because maybe I just said something bad.
I don't think so. No, you cut out for a second, so I couldn't tell
Oh, okay.
exactly what you said. But yeah, I like that Anna and Emma they were at odds, you know, they were clearly at odds, and partly because we were given a different Emma, and she's kind of coming around, and she's way more sort of she's got reasons for her behavior now, where before she was just sort of brash, right?
Yeah, before she was like in your face obnoxious, which I guess that's
Yeah.
the same as brash, yeah.
Yeah.
And we felt like she was possibly on the wrong side of the law for
Right.
not no good reason
Right.
particularly.
Right.
But
Yeah.
now we're coming to believe in her as a young woman with a
Mhm.
cause and with some
Mhm.
drive and some real
Mhm.
integrity.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And yeah,
And
and I like that Anna is starting to believe that and wants her to just, sort of like take a beat and learn how to do things in a
yeah,
better way,
yeah. Oh, so it's a steel magnolia is a combination of steeliness and gentleness.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
A woman unashamed who exemplifies both traditional femininity and an uncommon fortitude.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That sounds like
I don't
that's
know. I don't know about the traditional femininity, but
who are we still trying to talk about Laura
I
or
was saying Laura was kind of like that. That she's
uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
she's very warm and
Warm, definitely.
physical. Like she
Mhm.
hugs and touches
Mhm.
her
Mhm.
grandchildren and children, but she's got a core of steel also.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and she's not gonna let anyone get away with anything. She'll speak her mind,
she'll call them on it. Yeah, whether
Yeah.
yeah, she's
Mhm.
not a
Mhm.
what's another flower? Uh, she's not a withering violet. Is that what you say? Is that another
Uh,
phrase?
sure, sure.
Uh,
Um, hmm. Well,
sorry, I'm lost in flower analogies now.
that's okay. You reminded me there's somebody else that we didn't talk about yet, and now I've forgotten who it was
Well, we
again.
didn't talk about what Emma did that got uncovered, and I also like how
Right.
quickly we found that out. Like I thought that was going to be a
Yeah.
big, long, drawn out.
Right, right,
What
right.
did Emma
Yeah.
do? But
Yeah.
she like accidentally hurt somebody in a protest
Right,
about
right.
animal testing.
Yeah, at the universities, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was just picturing all the beautiful bunnies with their mascara and their lipstick.
And they're sitting there like, "So who's gonna put our makeup on now?"
Yeah. I prefer if you use a sponge rather than the brush. Better coverage, more even.
Don't overdo it, I don't wanna look slutty.
Look like a whore. No mascara on my whiskers today. Beautiful bunnies, so beautiful bunnies.
Bunnies, yeah, yeah. Oh, I know who it was.
Ah,
We didn't
okay.
and this is maybe the least interest although it's gonna get interesting. Joss going to the environmental physics class.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they've already been all over online with who the professor's gonna
Oh,
be,
and
and I'm like,
he's
I'm
the
so
most
annoyed.
handsome guy from Young and the Restless. He's so handsome.
Oh, like, listen
I
to it in your voice. Oh my
I
goodness.
know. I'm
Yeah.
getting a pants feeling already about this guy.
So you knew
So
who this guy was.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. I'd say that's a good get on General Hospital's part.
Okay. Was he on and just left, or had he not been on for a while, or
I haven't watched that in a
don't know?
while, but I think he's been on fairly recently.
Yeah, so he just switched
Yeah.
shows then. Huh, okay.
Yeah. I guess
So
so,
we'll
yeah.
see. Yeah, we'll see what that's going to be about.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looks like a kind of like the cool guy professor that you'd have a pants feeling for,
Everybody, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there would be a lot of students who would have a crush on this fella.
the
Yeah.
flirty professors. Yeah,
Mhm.
professors
Yeah.
always kind of walk the line of like,
Mm.
Like, are you friends? Are you like,
Is there something you wanna
not all of
talk
them.
about, Gia?
No,
S
just like, but
Uh-huh.
sometimes like professors would like have people over for dinner and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
I was always
yeah,
like, that's
right.
just weird.
Yeah, it
Like,
is a little tricky, it's gotta be tricky, yeah.
like,
Mm.
remember we were in grad school, but remember that one
Mhm.
professor we had that tried to get us to come to his gigs? He was a guitar player.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, yeah, wow. Huh.
And I'm like, dude, you just hate me, and now you want me to come to your gig? Like, you've been hating on my work. You've been being like an asshat to me, and then you're like, please come to my gig. Please come to my gig.
You can't have it both ways, sir.
I'm a loser, baby. Yeah. But
Mm.
anyway, yeah, there like sometimes there's a little like there's a little like it's not like in high school and grade school when there's like those worlds are so far apart, the teacher and the student. Then you
Mhm,
get to
yeah.
college and there's this little like gray area where you might like hang together and it's
Yeah.
wrong.
It
It's
are you sure you don't have anything you need to talk about, Gia?
no,
I
I'm sure.
Okay. Alright. Uh-huh.
No, but I always just felt like when professors acted like they wanted to be kind of friends with you, I was like, God, knock it off. Didn't you? Like,
I feel like you're referring to some experience I've that I didn't have.
oh, they're just always wanting to smoke pot with you and stuff, and it's like, come on, you're not one of us.
Never
No,
had that experience.
no,
No.
well, you weren't
No.
smoking pot with anybody
Nope,
because
nope.
you were smarter than me. But
I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
about that,
but we
Gia.
we got pretty similar scores on our little test in spite of all my
Yeah.
dope usage.
Yeah. Yeah, we're right back where we started. Yep.
Prevagen, yeah,
Nariva. We
Nuri,
took
whichever it was.
we couldn't afford the Prevagen, although now
That's
I think
right. We probably should have doubled up.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, anyway, okay. Well, did we cover pretty much everything? It was a good, solid couple of days.
it was, and I don't even know that we had a real super cliffhanger on Friday. I guess sort of, but,
No, but we had these various sort of, like you said, these tableaus, these sort of Shakespearean
yeah,
tableaus,
it was
big
all
stuff
quite
happening.
compelling,
Yes,
compelling stuff.
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So keep it up, hospital. We like it.
Yeah, yeah, good job. Good job, everybody. Kudos
Good
to
job.
you.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, I'm
Okay.
gonna go see if I can scare up some Sigmund and the Sea Monster or something to watch. And
Ah, okay. All right, Gia. You do that. You do
okay.
you. All right. All right. Well, good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for listening.
Yes, we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you in a couple days.
Yes, we will. Okay, Gia. You have a good night.
All right, you too. See ya.
Okay, bye.